An Empire timeline, hard reset, and you no longer have to play on Iron Man to get achievements. This week's Stellaris updates go pretty hard as the economy in 4.1 Phoenix are going to drastically change things. This does not mean that there is other changes afoot. As I mentioned, an Empire timeline is to be added, allowing you to take a look back at your Empire's history without needing to write everything down on a spreadsheet or creating faux war wiki pages, which is apparently something that people like to do. No, this new timeline feature is going to track exactly what you've been up to and what you did. Like, why did you start as? When did you survey your first planet? When did you have your first colony, contact, war, victory, and other major and not so major milestones that you've achieved, and events like you've been humiliated by fallen empires, or you had your planets blown up, or your Galatron was ocean 12th, are also covered. This is also going to introduce the new focus system. Now, I know that some of you will probably instantly recoil from hearing that term, knowing what they mean in the context of other Paradox games. In this case, however, it means that they're general guides for players, allowing them to grow into certain directions. For instance, if you do a lot of fighting, you can beeline for the conquest focus and unlock relevant technologies. The example given is that you can gain doctrine fleet power technology, which will still need to research if you've collected quote-unquote enough conquest points. Now, this is generally designed for new players, as veterans will likely complete these milestones naturally anyway. However, I think that it can be used to metagame certain technologies, as you're no longer really randomizing certain things that you would normally get in the tech tree. For those of you who don't realize, normally you would have a chance of getting the technologies depending on what level you are, and then you have 5 times level 1, for instance, and only then do you get access to level 2 technologies. It's kind of weird how the tech tree in Stellaris works in that sense. But like I said, it's more catered towards new players to give them some focus on what to do next within their playthrough. As a player like myself who's got more than 4,000 to 5,000 hours, will just do these things as they go, but could be a way to kind of game the system a little bit in order to get certain technologies quicker in order to do so. However, it kind of does throw a spanner in the works, as it means you can no longer really peacefully tech rush, sit on all the technology without building any ships. And because let's be honest, building a bunch of fleets takes up a bunch of valuable resources from the economy, and then just build 1 billion battleships whilst never having fired a single bullet. Not getting access to certain technologies if you don't go through certain gates seems a little bit counterintuitive to me, but hey, that's how it is, I guess. I guess you can no longer play a single style empire that never builds any ships whatsoever, and then at the end of the game, just like I said, builds 1 billion battleships. So that's going to change ever so slightly. It's also kind of weird that the tasks are card-based, somewhat turning Stellaris into a pseudo deck builder of sorts. It's not really the same thing, but it kind of looks like it, which is somewhat weird. The tasks are automatically completed if you've already done them. So if you've done a task, you get a new card. You can flip them over if you don't want to do a task by spending some unity, that sort of thing. But if you've already done a task, you automatically already collect them, which is cool. Like, that's fine, which is kind of ties into the whole advanced players will automatically do these things already anyway, which is fine. Like I said, it's very much towards new players. It can also mean that you can have cascading focus completion because you've never really built that one last destroyer, but you've done everything else, and then you built that one last destroyer, and all of a sudden you get like 50 different extra points that unlock, and all of a sudden, you're on top of the world, even though you still need to do some of the technological things. But yeah, quite a lot of things going on here. It's very interesting. I'm rather unsure about it because it forces you to play a little bit wider than you would in some cases in order to get the right focus points to unlock the right technologies. I've had games where I've never built a ship on purpose because A, the memes, and B, it just made sense at the time. Meanwhile, Synthetic Dawn is also being updated and will receive a new origin. Yeah, it's called Hard Reset and has similar themes as Broken Shackles from First Contact, where you break off from an existing species as a former cybernetic assimilator battle thrall. Yeah, use that as a triple word value right there, and try to figure out where the hell you came from and how you fit into this galaxy. As is tradition, it comes with all the existential dread that you would expect from this type of story, as a species that remembers everything it did whilst being controlled by a pseudo-benevolent drivel simulator probably comes with some psychological baggage. Also, you should probably get access to some cybernetic traits through this, like the new cybernetic shock troops thing, which sounds suspiciously like an army modifier, which is completely worthless within the grand scheme of things, as well as the unplugged trait, which could be positive, could be negative. I don't know what's going on there, but it feels very Matrix in that sort of sense. And I can't wait for Morpheus to start hitting those drums in a big cave underneath Zion. Also, of course, the driven assimilator species is probably still out there, so who knows what's up with that. Time for that roaring rampage of revenge. Whether or not you embrace your changes or go for the more native approach is completely up to you. There's a lot of flexibility here. There's also some changes to notifications, with tons of events no longer being pop-ups, especially the ones that have only one option in them. You can still interact with them if you really want to, but you no longer need to be proactive. And basically, it just reduces the on-screen clutter and 9 years of event spam that we've had. Because let's be honest, when the game first came out, there were maybe 50 events. There's now almost 1,000 or something along those lines. So yeah, reducing the amount of spam there is probably a good thing. Also, achievements are no longer going to require Iron Man, so get ready to be overwhelmed with 1 billion Steam pop-ups when you play the game. Also, you're going to have there's going to be an achievement now where you can earn that achievement if you do finish it with Iron Man. So there's that. So what do you think? Especially the timeline and changes to focuses, or at least the introduction of focuses. Are you okay with these? Is moving research from a semi-random tech tree to an unlockable card system something for you? Obviously, it's not for every single technology. It will still be there. But yeah, is this something that you're interested in here? Do you want to get your hands on some mentally broken former Terminators? Let me know in the comments below. But in the meantime, we're going to go wrap it up here. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, take good care of yourselves. And as always, each other.